Legend of the Pig King. Once upon a time, it's unclear when, there was a boy who lost his parents at a young age, wandering around begging for food every day. One day he came to a village, and someone saw that he was agile and took him. Returned to the foster home to do errands. He was often mischievous and dirty, so people mocked him and called him Pig. Even though everyone criticized him, Heo still didn't care at all. Many years have passed. Every year there have been droughts and floods. Poor children his age are not sick but are skinny, but Heo still lives healthy and grows bigger. When he was 15 years old, Heo went to live with a high-ranking mandarin. Pigs are healthy and agile, so they are very satisfied with everything. One day, a high-ranking mandarin asked Heo to draw a basin of water to wash the mandarin's feet. When Heo touched the mandarin's leg, the mandarin pointed to his moles and said, "Did you see that? These are his 3 precious moles. If you wash his feet carefully, if you scratch his 3 moles, even your family won't be able to pay for that precious appearance." When I heard the mandarin say that, he opened his shirt so he could see his mole and said, "The mandarin only has 3 mole, but he has carefully preserved it like a treasure. Look, I have 9 red moles here." The mandarin was surprised to see 9 red moles on Heo's back and felt guilty. "Oh my God! I only have 3 red moles and my family background is like this. But that dirty orphan, there are up to 9 of them. If he doesn't become king in the future, he will definitely be a high-ranking mandarin. If I'm under his power, then what face will I have? I have to kill him to avoid causing future disasters." Then a few days later, the mandarin gave the maid a packet of poison and told him, "Today, when you stir up rice for the pig to eat, you must immediately sprinkle this packet of poison into the bowl, so that no one will know what happened to him. If the poison goes out, you will die immediately." The maid took the poison package from the mandarin's hand and felt pain in her heart. She and Heo had been servants in the house for many years, always helping each other with everything. This time the mandarin forced her to kill Heo. She didn't know what to do. How? That day, Book Pig went to the market to buy some paper and pens for his owner. When I got home, the maid was feeding the pigs. Hungry, Heo quickly grabbed a bowl of rice and was about to put it in his mouth when he heard her knocking on the pig trough and scolding, "Poor pig! Hot pig! If the pig eats, the pig will die. If the pig doesn't eat, the pig will also die." She knocked hard and said it over and over 3 times in a row. The pig guy heard the maid shouting at the pigs, felt something was wrong, so he went to the maid to ask, "Am I about to encounter something to worry about?" "You tell me." The maid replied, "Don't forget me in the future, I will tell you." Pig nodded in agreement. The maid took Heo's hand and pulled him to a hidden corner, then told the whole story to Heo and said, "Heo, run away quickly. Don't let the big man know, otherwise not only will he die, but I will also die." Thanking the maid very much for saving her life, Heo hugged the maid and said, "In the future, if I succeed, you should come to me, but remember when you come, let your hair be messy like this. Can recognize." Pig ran away, went to work for a rich old man. The rich man saw Heo coming to apply for a job. He looked agile and resourceful, but he didn't know what to assign Heo to do, so he asked him to take care of his promiscuous children. He happily accepted. Looking after the children wasn't too hard, but these children were extremely naughty. Heo had to always be with them to take care of them. One time, he was unlucky enough to let a child play dirty, and Heo was scolded severely by the rich man. However, Heo still patiently endured without arguing. One day, the bald rich man saw that his children had nothing to play with, so he told Heo, "You should crawl out into the yard and make a horse for my children to ride. Only then will it be worth the money I spent hiring you." Unfortunately, the pig had to crawl out to become a horse. The older children and the younger children climbed onto the pig's back to ride. They seemed very excited. The next day they asked to ride again. The bald rich man's eldest son jumped on Pig's back. He pulled his ears. Pig still tried to endure. A moment later, he took a whip and whipped it hard on Heo's ass. While whipping him, he called out, "En hong en gong," like riding a horse. Heo got very angry. He turned his hand back and pushed him away. The boy sitting was hit. He hit the ground hard, broke his head, bled, and died. Heo panicked. "I beat the rich bald man to death. It's almost my turn to die too." Thinking so, he quickly ran away. The pig went far away, to a temple in the mountains. Heo asked the abbot to cut his hair and take refuge in the Buddha's temple. The monk needed someone skillful and good at climbing to clean the Buddha statues, so he accepted Heo to stay at the temple. One day, the monk saw the dusty parts of the statue's fingers and toes. Thinking that Heo was busy playing and not cleaning, so he scolded Heo. Seeing that, he was very upset. The next day, Heo meticulously cleaned the statues but still could not clean them because those crevices were very difficult to clean. Annoyed, Pig rolled his eyes at the statue and shouted, "Quickly lift your hand so I can clean it." The wooden statue suddenly raised its hand in the air, and after wiping it, the pig shouted again, "Stretch your legs quickly, otherwise I will give you a stick." The sitting Buddha statue suddenly stood up and stretched out its legs for the pig to wipe. In just a blink of an eye, the statues were all clean. After cleaning everything, Heo shouted for the statues to return to their original positions. Every day when cleaning, he did the same, until one day, he was so tired that after cleaning, he put himself in bed and forgot to shout for the statues to return to their original positions. In the evening, when the monks went to the temple to chant sutras, everyone was startled to look at the statues. Some raised their hands, some tilted their bodies. It was an unprecedented scene. The abbot called Heo up and asked, "Why have the statues become so strange?" The pig politely replied, "I couldn't clean the crevices of the statue, so I asked them to do that." This time the monk was even more surprised. He thought to himself, "Only the Son of Heaven can give orders to Buddha. Surely in the future the pig will become king. If I hide him here, how can I avoid a big crime if the army wants him later?" Thinking so, he sent someone to secretly report to the Mandarin. But by the time the military officials arrived, Heo had run far away. A kind boy quickly informed Heo of the situation and prompted Heo to run away as quickly as possible. He kept running and running. When he reached a certain district, Heo applied to work as a servant for a rich merchant. In front of the rich merchant's house, there was a row of areca palm trees, each tree lined up straight. This row of areca palms is a rich commodity for him, so he took good care of it. He hired Heo and assigned him the task of carrying water to water the areca nuts every day. One day, Heo was so tired that he sat down to rest under an areca tree. He blurted out, pointed to 3 areca trees and said, "This tree is the father tree, this tree is the mother tree, and this tree is the daughter tree." Suddenly, the 3 areca trees that were straight and equal became different in size and height. The father tree is taller and larger than everyone else, while the baby tree is so short that its chamber almost touches the ground. The next day, the rich merchant saw something strange happening to his shop, so he called Heo to ask what happened. Pig replied, "It was me who pointed at them and said that, so they changed like that." The rich man laughed hard. No one could ever order a tree, but he also told Heo, "If it is true that you ordered them, then you should return them to their original position." Pig rolled his eyes and told him, "Once I say it, I won't take it back. A gentleman says 1 is 1, each word is as heavy as 1,000 pounds." When the rich man heard that, he was very angry and took a stick to chase and beat Heo. He ran away. Even though he was tired and hungry, he still didn't dare stop for fear of being caught and beaten. Until midnight, tired and sleepy, Heo crawled into a house to find a place to rest. The house was full of people. There was no place for Heo to sleep. Looking next to it, there was an altar where the dragon god could just lie down, and there was also a thin mat. So Heo threw the dragon god statue on the ground and climbed onto the table to sleep soundly. The next morning, Heo got up early, left the house and continued walking. When the homeowner woke up, he saw the dragon god statue lying on the ground. On the altar, there were traces of people lying there that had not been cleaned up, so everyone found it strange and asked who dared to throw the dragon god statue on the ground like this. Dereliction. Everyone cleaned the altar and then put the dragon god statue back in its original place. But when they lifted the statue, they couldn't lift it. They looked at each other bewilderedly, not knowing what to say. The homeowner quickly invited a high priest to come and see her. Instead of the long fan's words, he said, "I am on the king's land. Wherever the king puts me, I will stay there." Hearing that, everyone believed that the angel had come to sleep at their house last night. This news spread quickly among the people. Everyone was excited because there was about to be a bright lord who would appear to help the living beings who were suffering in the misery and destitution of the country at that time. Heo ran away to the mountains and met a group of enemies. Heo immediately asked them to join him to fight, and he achieved more and more victories. Thanks to his intelligence and God-given ability to command even gods and Buddhas, Heo was honored by the entire mountain camp as the farm's master. More and more brothers asked to follow. Heo directed his troops to oppose the imperial army. He won many battles, causing the imperial army to fail miserably. Heo's land is expanding more and more. He proclaimed himself king and established a system of court officials and soldiers. From then on, people often called him the Pig King. One day while passing through the old province, suddenly a girl blocked the road and asked to pay her respects. The soldiers brought her to meet the Pig King. The Pig King realized that the girl with shaggy hair had saved his life in the past and set up a plan. That is, bring her back to the capital and make her queen. King Heo lived happily with his queen. The people under King Heo's reign were peaceful, prosperous and happy, and everyone praised the king constantly. Read good fairy tales. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.